Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. Today's session focuses on a crucial and multi-dimensional topic: social, emotional and moral development. These developmental domains are fundamental to how students understand themselves, interact with others and form ethical values that influence their academic and social behavior. These areas not only help in academics but also play a key role in personal success, confidence, and how we handle real life situations inside and outside the classroom. When these domains are nurtured and developed, students are better equipped to manage stress, resolve conflicts peacefully, and build a strong sense of empathy. They develop resilience in facing challenges, gain the ability to work collaboratively, and strengthen their decision-making skills, which benefit them far beyond their school years, preparing them for lifelong learning, adaptability, and meaningful contribution to society and community well-being. This chapter is divided into three main sections: understanding the self, understanding others, and understanding relationships. Each section is designed to provide meaningful insights into how these aspects of development shape learning experiences and classroom dynamics. We will look at real-life examples, student behavior, and how teachers can support these areas in practical ways. Let's begin by exploring at the first area: how students come to understand their emotions, identity, and personal growth. How this affects their learning journey. Understanding the self. Understanding oneself is a dynamic journey from childhood to adulthood. Our self-view evolves through relationships, successes, failures, and environment. As children grow, their identity, self-worth, and abilities become more complex and shaped by how they are treated, self-concept, how we see our traits, strengths, and performance. A young child might say, "I am fast," or "I like drawing." By age 7 or 8, they begin comparing themselves to others, saying things like, "I am good at science, but not at sports." These comparisons shape self-image and without support can lead to self-doubt. It's a lifelong evolving process. Let me share a quick real-life story. There was a student named Anna in 6th grade. She was shy and hardly spoke in class, but she was given a chance to design a poster. Her creativity stood up. Her classmates praised her work and her teacher displayed it in the classroom wall. From that day, Anna started saying, "I am creative," and slowly she began to participate more. That self-concept being shaped through experience and feedback. Now let's talk about self-esteem. The closely related to self-concept is self-esteem, which is one's emotional evaluation of their own worth. While self-concept is more descriptive, self-esteem is evaluative and emotional. For example, a boy might say, "I am good at sports." That's self-concept. But if he says, "I am proud of that, I feel confident when I play," that's self-esteem. how he emotionally values that ability. Self-esteem is more emotional and can be easily influenced by others. If a student is constantly criticized or compared in a negative way, their self-esteem may drop, even if they are actually capable. Let me give you another example. There was a boy named Jack who was excellent at math, but his parents kept pointing out his poor handwriting. Even though he scored well, he began to feel that he was not good enough. That's how negative attention to one area can damage overall self-esteem. That's why balanced feedback is so important. On the other hand, when we recognize effort, not just result, we help children feel valued. For instance, saying, "I'm proud of how hard you worked on that assignment," can build strong self-esteem than just saying, "You got an A." Another essential idea is self-efficacy, a concept introduced by Albert Bandura. Self-efficacy means believing that you can successfully do a specific task. It's not just general confidence, it's task specific. It comes from four major resources: personal experience, succeeding at task builds believes in your ability. Watching others, seeing classmates succeed can build hope. Verbal encouragement, "You can do it," from a teacher can boost effort. How you feel? If you feel calm and prepared, you are more likely to believe you will succeed. Take the example of a student named Kate who used to struggle with reading aloud. Her teacher gave her short, simple reading parts at first and praised her every time she improved. Slowly, Kate started believing, "I can read it in front of people," and now she reads fluently during group activities. So, how do we as educators influence these aspects of self-development? Teachers and even parents play a huge role in shaping students' beliefs about themselves. The classroom is not just a place for academic learning. It's also where emotional and moral development happens every day. Here's how teachers can help. Teachers play a pivotal role in shaping students' self-belief. This can be done through positive reinforcement that builds confidence, structured challenges that promote a sense of achievement, constructive, encouraging feedback that helps students reflect and grow. Activities like peer modeling, cooperative learning, and inclusive participation can reduce harmful social comparison and create a sportive classroom culture that nurtures confidence and self-worth. As students form their identity and self-understanding, they also begin interpreting and responding to the people around them. The next phase is just as important because we don't grow in isolation. We grow through interaction with others. Let's now explore how they develop an understanding of others as critical component of how emotional and moral growth. As students begin to deepen their understanding of themselves, who they are, what they value, what makes them feel proud or upset, something else starts to happen. They begin to see others more clearly. They recognize that other people have emotions, beliefs, and perspectives just as real as their own. This growth in self awareness and social understanding goes hands in hand. It shapes how they behave in the world, how they treat others, and how they begin to answer some of life's bigger questions. Questions about right and wrong, fairness, justice, and care. The entire area of development is social and emotional side. Includes things like moral reasoning, empathy, compassion, and emotional intelligence. Let's begin with moral development, a key piece of this puzzle. When we talk about moral development in children, we are asking, how do kids come to understand right from wrong? What influences their sense of fairness? What drives them to act ethically or not? Jean Piaget, a Swiss psychologist, studied how children develop moral understanding. He found that young kids focus on rules and consequences, what he called the heteronomous stage. They see morality as fixed and tied to authority. As they grow, children shift to an autonomous stage, realizing rules are made by people and intentions matter. They begin to view justice more flexibly, considering context rather than outcomes or punishments. Building on Piaget's work, Lawrence Kohlberg proposed that moral reasoning develop in three stages. First is the pre-conventional level, where children obey to avoid punishment or gain rewards. Then comes to the conventional level, where they value rules and seek approval. Finally, in the post-conventional level, individuals follow universal ethical principles, even challenging unjust laws if they conflict with deeper beliefs about justice and human dignity. However, not all moral decisions are purely logical. Emotions play a critical role. Carl Gilligan argued that moral reasoning is not just about justice and logic, it also involves compassion, care, relationships, and understanding others' needs, which Kohlberg's theory largely overlooked. For example, a child might choose to forgive a friend, not because of the rule, because they value that friendship and want to maintain the bond. Gilligan called this the ethics of care, and it introduced a more balanced view of moral thinking, one that values connection just as much as principle. Later, another psychologist, James Rest, expanded on Kohlberg's theory by introducing four key parts of moral decision making: sensitivity, judgment, motivation, and action, emphasizing that real morality involves noticing, caring, choosing, and acting. Nancy Eisenberg showed how kids shift from self-interest to helping others out of empathy and fairness. Albert Bandura noted that people often justify wrong action under pressure through moral disengagement. Still, we self regulate, feeling proud when doing good, guilty when not. That's where moral education matters, fostering empathy, reflection, and respectful dialogue. It shapes character and strength. How children see themselves with growing confidence, values, and purpose. In our next lecture, we will go deeper into emotional development, how students build social competence from positive peer relationship and respond to challenges like bullying with empathy and resilience. Remember, as educator, we do more than teach. We mentor, we guide, we nurture the whole child emotionally, morally, and socially, helping them grow in a complex and changing world. Thank you for joining me today. Assalamu alaikum, and I look forward to seeing you in the next session.